All right, hi everybody. We're going to go ahead and officially get started. Thank you everybody so much for joining us today. We are really excited to offer these information sessions for Proper Cannabis. The goal of these sessions is to provide everyone on this call with information about career opportunities at this great new company. My name is Tatiana. I am a consultant with People Solution Center. We are the HR consulting firm that is supporting Proper for all of their HR needs. This includes leading the recruiting efforts and ensuring that we create an outstanding employee experience for all of the new team members that are coming on board. We are thrilled to be approaching the commencement date and to continue to build this fantastic team. And today we are joined by actually quite a few fabulous folks from Proper, but I'm going to specifically introduce you all to two people that are going to be chatting with us today. We've got Matt LaBrier. He is the Chief Operating Officer. Matt, are you on?
I am, yeah.
Excellent. And then we also have with us this afternoon Josh Morris, and Josh is the Post-Harvest Manager. Josh, you with us?
Yep, I'm with you. Thanks for attending, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. So before we get started, I want to let you know that I want to encourage you all, if you have any questions, please utilize the chat feature in Zoom. You can just go ahead and chat your questions in that way. If they are going to be covered by the questions that we already have in place, don't worry, hang in, they will be answered. And I'm going to be keeping an eye on the chat box to make sure that we get your questions answered. So feel free to throw questions into that chat. And I think that's it. So now I would love to introduce you guys officially to Matt. Matt, why don't you take a moment and introduce yourself and tell the group a little bit about your background, please.
Yeah, totally. So as Tatiana mentioned, I'm the COO of Proper and one of the founders of the business. It's now been about 2 years since at least I came on board, and a little more than that for John and Craig, who are my other partners. It's been a really fun, kind of crazy process in getting to the point that we're at now. And as we start to talk about a post-harvest team, it's interesting because for so long we haven't really talked about actually having plants in the building. So talking about not just having a harvest, but having a post-harvest team is a really exciting point. I've spent the last 11 years, right up until March, spent about 11 years in the Colorado cannabis market, and joined that industry really at kind of the infancy stage. So very beginning of businesses actually forming and the regulated industry existing in Colorado. Ran a company there. It started kind of at the very bottom. Was one of the first, I think, 7 or 8 hires in a company, and worked my way up to being the vice president of that company for the last 5 years. So I'm originally from St. Louis, really excited to come back home and do what I'm really passionate about, which is cannabis, and do it in my backyard. I actually grew up about 3 minutes away from where our cultivation and manufacturing facility is located. So it's really special to me to be able to come home and do what I love. So that's kind of the 2-minute explanation of who I am and why I'm here.
Thanks, Matt. Really appreciate it. And we are so glad to have you back home from Colorado.
Good to be back.
Yeah. Josh, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about you? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Hey everyone, my name is Josh Morris. I am the post-harvest manager at Proper Cannabis. I was born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri. I started out in the greenhouse industry about 7 or 8 years ago, and moved over to the cannabis space about 4 or 5 years ago. Went out to California, and kind of in preparation of seeing the industry evolve across the United States, and with hopes of it coming online in Missouri, and which we're here today. I was able to, be in some interesting opportunities in Southern California, and then moving eventually up to Northern California, before coming back to St. Louis around a year ago and prep to, you know, get my feet wet in the industry in Missouri specifically. And then about 3 or 4 months ago, I was lucky enough to hop on with the team here at Proper, and you know, we've been building the dream ever since. And you know, we're halfway through our or almost wrapped up with our cultivation commencement process right now. And I know everyone's just really excited on the team as far as where we're at, and to get things going, get plants in the building.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh. I love we sent everybody out to other states, and now we're getting you back. Fantastic. Thank you both for coming in and sharing information on this. I really want to focus on the post-harvest roles that are going to be opening up. Josh, since the post-harvest team is going to be your team, why don't you get started by telling everybody a little bit about what it's like to work in post-harvest and what is sort of a typical day-to-day?
Sure. So post-harvest, just in the name, we're taking care of everything right from the harvest of the plant all the way until it gets packaged up before it gets out to retail. So we are really focusing on quality, keeping high standards, and just, you know, vibing as a team as far as making sure we can get a good product out. We're really looking at, you know, attention to detail. We're looking at, you know, strong individuals that have fine motor skills and can have some perseverance and dedication, because yeah, we're going to be dealing with a lot of different flower groups, a lot of different batches, a lot of data coming down the pipeline. So it's going to be important for, you know, the whole team to kind of have clear communication and to be, you know, all on the same page. Day in the life of a trimmer is kind of, you know, you're manicuring, hand trimming batches in preparation, post-cure phase in preparation for the packaging phase. The packaging phase, just as it, you know, self-explanatory, you're packaging it up, putting those final touches on that outer physical appearance of that package and our product before it gets to those retail stores. So you're really focusing, and it's in your hands as the last line of defense before the state of Missouri sees our products.
I love that. Thanks, Josh. So what do folks typically love about this job?
Like I said before, it's you are the last line of defense. So people really take pride into, especially the trimming role, as, you know, you're sculpting that final product from that raw cannabis flower material into that tight trimmed, beautiful looking cola that you're eventually making a product into. Yeah, I think that's a huge plus. And then to, you know, reverberate that last response, the packagers, they kind of have a hand and a pulse on that outer physical reality of, you know, the final touches and making sure that package looks perfect before it gets onto our shelves in the retail space.
Great, I love that. And, you know, as exciting as all of these roles are, every job, I think, comes with its own challenges. So why don't you share with us what you think are some of the things that folks find challenging about the post-harvest roles?
Challenging is just like the patience that is needed to be in this role. You need to have plenty of patience, but you need to be willing to, you know, step outside your lane, as far as you can't always be a trimmer every day. Sometimes you might need to flex and help the harvest team defan sugar leaves off the harvest, just to make sure our timelines are all linking up together. People might, you know, sign up and think they'll only be having scissors in their hand the entire time, but you're going to just need to be able to be versatile and be a team player in this department. That could pose to be a challenge to some people, but those are the type of individuals we're looking for. Someone that's that can be versatile and, you know, willing to take on anything that comes their way.
I love that. Thanks, Josh. So to get into some of the specifics, what is the role? What are the roles that we're hiring for within the post-harvest team, and how many folks are you expecting to bring on for this position?
Well, I break it up into trimmers and packagers mainly. I'm looking for 10 to 15 trimmers. I'm looking somewhere up to 7 to 10 packagers. And in those departments, each department's going to have their own lead that kind of holds a pulse over that department or that micro department, making sure all the goals and timelines are met on a weekly and monthly basis. In those departments, there's going to be quality control people that will help train new employees and hold everyone to our high proper standards that we're trying to come out with. And then above them, there'll be leads of those micro departments. So we'll have a trim lead, we will have a packager lead that kind of manages between those quality control and the rest of the department and myself, who manages the department.
That's awesome. I'm going to be bringing in lots of fantastic folks, right? Looking to hire a great big team. And so I know you touched on this a little bit, but could you spend a little in the next few minutes kind of going through what are the skills and competencies that you're going to be looking for that you think are really important to be successful in these two post-harvest roles as trimmers and packagers?
Sure. A couple of things that just come to mind is attention to detail, some patience and dedication, persistence. The attention to detail is self-explanatory. When you think about trimming all these different strains, they don't exactly look alike. You're going to need to understand how some things may need more taken off than others. Some strains may need more attentions than other strains that we grow. So attention to detail and knowing exactly what we expect quality-wise is very important. Something that you're going to need to bring to the table to, be a quality applicant.
I love that. What other skills and competencies do you think are crucial?
I think just taking responsibility for your position in your department. If anything lacks in our department, it's just a chink in the chain. And we work hand in hand with the cultivation department and the manufactured and infused products department to kind of mediate where our products are going to go and where they need to be, depending on the market, what the market tells us. So we're going to need to be able to adapt quickly and to be able to, provide both those other departments good information to be able to make the best decisions possible to put us in the best position.
I love that. That's great. So let's talk a little bit about the overall culture that we're creating at Proper. I think everybody who's involved with this organization, everybody's been making jokes about Proper, right? We're going to do things properly. It's my favorite go-to joke basically these days. But let's talk a little bit about culture. Besides doing things the right way, the proper way, well, really frankly, including that. Matt, would you mind talking to us a little bit about the overall culture of Proper that we're working to establish?
Yeah, definitely. It's something that we've really touched on since the very beginning, and something that we continue to spend time on, especially as we bring new folks on board. And the things that we really touch on are kind of like what are our values and what's our vision for the company. And what we've always said is we want a company that's authentic and a team that's authentic. We want a place where people can be themselves and can come to work and really enjoy their time doing what they do and working with the team that they're on. So I think that's a big part of who we are. We're not out here to try to be somebody that we're not. What's most important to us is that we have people that truly enjoy what they do and come to work and have fun every day. I know we've touched on a little bit, but and we joke about the name, but it really is, we're trying to do things the right way. We're trying to grow plants the right way and treat people the right way. And we think that those two things go hand in hand. If we have happy people on our team, they're going to grow happy plants. And those plants are going to make a really positive impact in the community. So that's our focus. We want to grow the best possible cannabis. And that doesn't stop with harvesting that cannabis. And that's kind of, what we're talking about here today is probably one of the most important roles in our entire company are the folks that trim that cannabis and package that cannabis. We can grow beautiful plants and harvest beautiful plants. But that last stage, which for us is about 5 weeks long from the time we cut down to the time we put something in a package and it leaves the building, to me has always been as critical as anything. So we're looking for people that have an eye to quality and an attention to detail and a commitment to really living out those values that we've kind of put out there.
Matt, I love that. Happy people, happy plants, happy patients.
That's right.
I love that. Josh, sort of piggybacking on the same question, but maybe with a little bit of a focus for the kind of culture that you're looking to create for your team.
Sure. Obviously at Proper, we're focusing on inclusiveness and creating a culture of belonging. It's going to be a really big department. So we're going to have to rely on each other, give each other good information, really work as a team to meet all of our standards, our quality standards, and so forth. I want to set goals as a department. I want to hit those goals. I want to be, transparent, and I want to be open to my team, be able to, sit down and talk to everyone if they're having problems or if they have feedback. But, overall, I want to instill pride and a proud feeling about our products before they go to our retail stores and, have a sense of proudness of what you're working on and what we're, executing on.
I love that so much. Thanks, Josh. We've got a great question from the chat, actually a couple, so I'm going to go ahead and take them one at a time. In Missouri, is all flower packaged prior to dispensary transfer?
Sure. Yeah. It is pre-packaged at the licensed facility. So we have our cultivation and manufacturing under one roof right now. So all the packaging will be done in our Rock Hill facility before it goes to our retails and other partners.
Got it. Great, thanks for clarifying that. The rules are a little bit different from state to state. Everybody kind of came up with their own plan, so great to clarify that specifically. Will this position be primarily trim and grow, or will packaging weight as heavy as trimming also be part of it? And Jennifer, if I'm sort of not getting to the root of your question, feel free to unmute and clarify.
So, we're going to be, on a week-by-week basis, we're going to be dealing with multiple flower batches. So I foresee both of these positions tangibly working at the same time. On a week-by-week basis, there might be a heavier beginning of the week focused on trim, and then, if there's a harvest towards the end of the week, it'll be more heavily focused on that harvest, and then we'd fit packaging in the mid part of the week. But we're really going to try to flex our labor around to meet our timelines and meet our goals internally for where we need the product to be and where it needs to end up on the right time.
Yeah, it's a good point, Josh. Just to really kind of touch quickly on the flex, kind of the flex nature of these roles. I think it's one of the cooler parts of the job. I think being able to see different parts of the process has always really excited me, and certainly excited folks on our team. You're not, to your point, Josh, is if you come in and expect to just have a pair of scissors in your hand all day, every day, you might be disappointed. But if you really enjoy seeing the different aspects of the harvest process, the packaging process, in some cases, the dry and cure process, then you'll really enjoy a role in this department. You get to, you get to see behind the scenes of how everything happens. And as Josh talked about earlier, you are kind of the one putting the final stamp of approval on a package. So I think that the flex nature of a lot of these roles is really one of the coolest parts about it.
I love that. That's fantastic. Got another question from the chat, which actually segues nicely to my last couple of questions here. Where will this role be based out of? So folks that are going to be selected for this position, where are they going to be based out of?
So as I said, the cultivation and manufacturing facilities are at the Rock Hill location. So all of these positions will be located in Rock Hill, right next to Webster there, if you're familiar with the area.
Awesome, thanks. And what is the starting pay rate that you're looking to hire folks at for these roles?
So the trimmers and packagers, kind of more or less the entry level positions. When we look at it, we are going to start people at 12, I believe, and then above that, the quality controls are going to be within those departments, but have the additional responsibilities of training and checking quality and instilling that in the team. So we'll start those individuals $1 or $2 higher, around 13 to 14. And then the leads that I'm looking for to kind of micromanage these departments, we're looking between $16 and $20 an hour. And all these obviously can be skewed by experience that you bring to the table. Yeah, obviously we'll invest more in experience, but understandably, a lot of people have different techniques and ways they do things, and you're just going to need to come with an open mind to, to use the joke, to learn the proper way and to adhere to our standards and really just get on board with what our vision and what we want to come out with.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and just to piggyback really quickly on that, Josh, because I see that there's a question that popped up too about opportunities for growth, and will we seek to promote internally? The answer is absolutely. I mean, I think where we've generally in my experience, where we found our best folks is within the department. I've seen employees of mine go from entry-level part-time trimming to the role that Josh is in now, kind of supply chain and post-harvest management. So I've seen that happen firsthand. We will absolutely seek to promote individuals from within, and these roles, some of these entry-level roles are excellent ways to get your foot in the door, and you will have every opportunity to kind of climb the ladder once you're in. So yeah, I think that's important to touch on, and I'm glad that somebody asked the question. The other thing that we talked about compensation, but I would lump into compensation benefits, and I don't know, Tatiana, you might be better suited to talk a little bit to those benefits, but we are offering full benefits, which is, I think, really unique in the cannabis space, and hopefully is not unique moving forward. We would love to see more and more cannabis companies offer full benefits, but in my experience, that's not often the norm. And we'll also have really exciting employee discounts. So if you are a medical patient and you like to shop at our stores, you have some really nice pricing to do that too. So if you're working for Proper and you use medical cannabis, we want you using Proper products.
Matt, I love that. And I love the question that popped in about sort of how folks are going to be able to build a career with Proper. And thinking back to your stories, Matt's, Josh's story, and the stories of so many folks on the leadership team, that's the way you guys build your careers. And it's really something that I think I've seen from everyone on this team wanting to bring forth here. I also do want to highlight the benefits just one more time, because it really is just a spectacular benefits package. So Proper is offering full health insurance benefits for the employee, which is really, frankly, not even just in the cannabis space, but it is something that is not really common in all kinds of different organizations. So it really is a spectacular benefit, 100% employer paid premiums for employees. As well as paid time off. So 15 days off in your very first year of employment, also nothing to sneeze at. We all love our jobs, but time off, time to recharge our batteries, spend with our family and friends, it's crucial too, right? So a great overall benefits package. Before we sort of start to wrap things up, I do want to ask you guys to talk a little bit about sort of the anticipated start dates. When are we looking to get folks in for the post-harvest team? And then we'll go through some of the closing items. I know there's a few questions in the chat about what happens next in the recruiting process, and that will be the last thing I touch on before we wrap up this session. But talk to me a little bit, talk to us all a little bit about the timing of these new roles.
Sure. So we're just getting our cultivation facility commenced and online right now. We should be getting plants in the building in the next week or so. So naturally, we have to follow out that flower cycle. And we're looking at late February, early March to bring people on. Early March when we're looking at our first harvest, anticipated harvest, to really start that dry and then eventually cure process, and really getting our, our team integrated with these roles. So yeah, we're looking at late February. We'll probably be doing some training mid-February, late February, and then kind of putting all that into practice early March.
Now, can I go back to my question that I put in real quick? I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine. Phil, your question.
No, the Rock Hill locations for the trimming and packaging, will they move to the new stores, or will that stay consistently the trimming and packaging spot?
Yeah, that will always happen at Rock Hill. So that's that's the only. Yep. Yeah. So all that stuff will happen on site at our cultivation manufacturing headquarters, and then it will just be dispersed to both our retail stores and then a bunch of others throughout the state.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thanks, Phil. And then a couple more questions from the chat before we wrap it up. Josh, are you looking to hire primarily full-time employees, or are there going to be some additional part-time opportunities?
I know primarily I'll be looking for full-time. Maybe down the road, if I need to supplement some positions, we'll look at part-time offers. But I know I'm going to look for full-time people that are going to prioritize their time with this role.
Great. And then we have another question that's fairly specific. So if we are, we don't want to get into too many specific details, but I want to throw this out in case this is relevant for other folks on the call. If somebody has a cultivator license as a medical patient, will they be required to stop? Is there any sort of issues with those licenses interacting together in these jobs?
Sure. You will not have to stop cultivating, but I think that question is alluding to cross-contamination from their grow and bringing it into our grow, which, we, in our standard operating procedures, we're instilling, sanitation, safety, and speaking to our quality, we are going to, expect all of our employees to come clean and, groomed before work to alleviate any of that cross-contamination. I know we're going to make use of PPE gear. We're going to, have daily cleaning regimens. I know we have showers on site, so we're going to, take the necessary steps to kind of combat and mitigate any of that cross-contamination as it arises.
Thanks, Josh. Great question. So I'm going to give you all kind of another moment to throw any last minute questions into the chat before we start to wrap up the session. We really appreciate each of you taking the time out of your day to join us and spend some time learning about Proper Brands and the fabulous business that they are starting. Our goal here today was to provide you with information about the roles and the company culture at Proper. We firmly believe in creating an outstanding employee experience for team members, and that starts with ensuring that we provide interesting candidates with accurate information about these roles. If you are interested in applying for these positions, please apply through the online posting. There is a posting on Indeed's website, as well as on the careers page of Proper's website. So you can go there and apply if you haven't already. And we are targeting for these roles, like Josh said, sometime at the end of February, beginning of March. Based on this, we will be recruiting for these positions, probably not quite in the next couple of weeks, but shortly after that, you will be hearing from myself and my team at People Solution Center, so that we can start scheduling interviews. Keep an eye on the website for more information and for other opportunities that are going to be coming on. And I think, let's see, will there be a training phase before first sale? Final question before we wrap this up.
Sure, I can take that one. We just onboarded our first cultivators last week, so there is a pretty intense onboarding phase. So we have all of our new hires go through a week of onboarding training, or a little over a week of onboarding training. So get you familiar with our processes, procedures, state and local regulations, safety standards, sanitation, COVID procedures. We're training on all of that to make sure our employees are best equipped coming into work for that first day.
Awesome. Thank you, Josh. Thank you again, Josh, Matt, for joining us today and getting all of these fantastic questions answered. Everybody else, thank you all so much for joining us. We really appreciate you guys coming on, learning about proper cannabis. Your interest in these roles is really appreciated. We're excited to talk to a whole lot of you, and thanks for joining us today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.